So I've been thinking about why Judo is declining. So I think there's several reasons. A lot of people on the internet give a lot of advice of why Judo is declining, how they can fix it. But I think some of the advice are incorrect because they're not talking from personal experience. And so here's a couple of suggestions I have, okay, based on my personal experience, based on people I talk to, based on running a school, based on meeting other Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructors, other judoka, stuff like that. Okay, we don't have to sit and say that because my ankles are. Okay, Judo is a freaking goddamn super hard martial art to do. Okay, so example, to be good at Judo, you might need almost 5 to 6 years of training before you can launch someone consistently. Okay, so let's just say Evander's fighting his twin brother, okay, and his twin brother just goes to the gym, work out, roughhouse it, and Evander does Judo. For Evander to consistently throw him 80% of the time, Evander has to train at least 5 years, or almost over 2,000 hours, okay, sort of 5,000 hours. Okay, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, after 2 years, when you fight with someone on the ground, you look spectacular. So the learning curve is not as steep. So in other words, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, think of it like this. Boom, and then right here. Okay, so in other words, think of learning curve and then proficiency. Okay, Judo, on the other hand, takes forever to get really good. But then once you get really good, it's really hard for anyone to get better than you, to dominate you. Okay, we're talking about like just stand-up grappling. Okay, we're not talking about striking and stuff like that yet. So the problem with Judo is that it takes a long time to see a result. In modern day America and modern day civilization, there's just so much distraction. There's so many martial art to do, so many entertainment venues that we can go to, so many ways to distract it. And so what happened is most people quit before they see any significant progress or significant skills. So let's just say you did Judo for 3 years and you still have a hard time throwing people. And so you're like, ah, fuck it, I'm gonna quit, right? So that's one problem with Judo, is the built-in mechanism of making you feel like an idiot all the time. Okay, it's like, you know, you're an idiot, you can't throw someone after 3 years. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or just fighting on the ground, after a year and a half, 2 years, some newbie comes in, never grappled before, you can tear it up, you can tear him up. Okay, Judo, after 3 years, some guy comes off the street, he's athletic, you still have a hard time throwing him, right? And so, so as a judoka, you might feel frustrated by that. And so what happened is Judo clubs had a hard time keeping, you know, practitioners around. That's one point. So somehow we have to make it easy for people to learn. So some of the proposals are, at my school especially, we switch it up. We do more newaza, and then as they advance, we make tachiwaza, stand-up fighting, like the elite way of fighting. So everyone knows how to grapple on the ground, but we introduce stand-up. We always push for stand-up. But we invert the triangle. We spend more time learning on the ground because we want to keep the student, we want to have fun, and then we do tachiwaza, but we don't do a lot of randori. Randori is only for MMA fighters or guys who want to compete. Okay, because randori is so physical. Okay, and if you go to most judo club, only a few people do hardcore randori. Most people don't even do randori properly. All right, they just like yanking each other around stuff. So randori is for the hardcore elite athlete. Let's be honest. Okay, when judo was first introduced, it brought, in Japan, 1886, it brought in a lot of elite guys. Okay, they weren't like a bunch of wimpy jockeys, they were freaking tough ass, badass guys. Okay, and so we still have that expectation of if people do judo, everyone can do randori. That's not possible. And this is where Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu got the judo community beat. Right off the bat, everyone can do newaza or grappling or rolling because it's not that physically demanding. So I can be a wimpy Chinese guy and still grapple with Evander and come back night after night. But if I was to do randori, tachiwaza, stand-up judo throw night after night, fuck that. After 1 week, I'm gonna quit. You know, and I'm gonna find myself at BJJ school. Okay? Okay, number 2. When Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu first came to America, it was a very hot commodity because of the Gracies. It showed the effectiveness of grappling. Not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo. I mean, how many ways can you do an arm bar? That. We'll get to that in a second. But It showed the effectiveness of it. So right away, there was like a momentum going. Now, in judo, you can't start your own judo school until you get to maybe second degree, and then you become a certified coach, etc. Right? So you can't just go out there and open up a judo school and hang up a sign and say, I teach judo, because the judo community say, no, 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 because we already addressed the part that judo is very hard to learn. So what happens, you can't start a judo school until maybe you have 8 years, 10 years of judo training. Now, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I remember doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back in 2000. And the people I learned it from were only blue belt, purple belt. So what happens around between 1993 to 2000, 2001, you can start your own Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school when you were a blue belt. You know, blue belt is 2 to 4 years of training, or even purple belt. Purple belt was 3 to 7 years of training, right? And it's because you learned it quickly, you know, the learning curve was not steep, and that propagated the explosion of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Because let's just say Evander is let's just say I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I'm not, let's just pretend I am. And Evander trained me for 2 years, and he goes, hey mom, I finished my college, I need to go back, I need to move to New York City because I got a job there. I want to keep on teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I say, hey, no problem, Evander. You know, you have 2 years of training, that's good enough already. Call me in, and I'll give a seminar to your student every 3 months. Right? New York City, 6 hours away. I'll drive down every 3 months. I'll grade your student. I'll hang out with you for the weekend, and I'll train you and stuff like that. And that allowed Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to have a grassroots movement and exploded really quick. So imagine a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. He had 20 students, and maybe every 6 months, the students would leave him because of work or whatever. But when they left, they got the blessing from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt to open up a school under his name, because it was a way for him to generate revenue because it's an affiliation fee. At the same time, his student, who's maybe a blue belt, purple belt, could wreck it on the mat because the learning curve was not as steep. At the same time, he kept on progressing the art. He propagated the art. Judo couldn't do that. Judo doesn't have that belting mechanism. So that is why you have countries now like in Portugal and UK and stuff where Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is overtaking Judo, right? Because the built-in mechanism was there to propagate quickly, right? And so what happened is I have 20 students. Every 6 months, let's just say every 3 months, a student will leave me due to work or family, and then they open up a school under my name, right? So they're still training under me, but I gave them the blessing, right? Judo does not have that built-in mechanism. So that was another problem why Judo is declining, is because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has that built-in mechanism to grow really quick, okay?